In the heart of London, deep in the labyrinthine halls of Room 40, a secret meeting unfolds. Top British intelligence officials are gathered, men whose job it is to sift through the coded messages intercepted from Germany. The year is 1917, and the First World War is ground on for 3 long years. For Britain, the war has become a desperate struggle. Resources are strained, food is scarce, and the German U-boat campaign is strangling their lifeline to the wider world. The fate of Britain may hang in the balance. As they meet, a message crosses their desks, one that will send shockwaves not only through London, but across the Atlantic and into the very future of the 20th century. This is the story of the Zimmer telegram, a message that changed the world. Or was it? As the smoke clears, the pieces are set up on the board. We find ourselves in 1914, a time when empires are crumbling and new powers are rising. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand has ignited a powder keg across Europe. The Austrians are mobilizing, the Russians are preparing, and the French are making ready to defend the threatened Antwerp cordial. Meanwhile, the Germans, confident in their own strength and suspicious of the British, are moving to ensure their position. They have designs on Belgium, a country seen as crucial to their plans. To achieve this, they need the Belgians out of the way. But the Belgian queen is hesitant. Her country is small and vulnerable. Can she really stand against the might of the Kaiser's army? And how will her neighbors respond? Enter John Category, the man who will decide Belgium's fate. He is a retired British Army officer, living a quiet life in Brussels until the unthinkable happens. As the German army approaches, John Category takes action. He rallies the Belgians, organizes resistance, and prepares to fight. But as the German threat looms larger, he realizes he needs help. His only hope is appealing to the one power that can stop the Germans, the Russian Empire. With his decision made, John Category sends a message to St. Petersburg. Will the Russians come to his aid? If so, the Germans may be stopped. But if not, Belgium may pay a heavy price. For weeks, tension mounts. The Germans are at the gates. Will the Russians intervene? And will it be too late? The wait is agonizing. Then comes the news from St. Petersburg. The Russians are coming, led by none other than Grand Duke Nicholas Nikolaevich, cousin of the Tsar and a brilliant commander. With the Russian army on its way, the Germans are forced to retreat. Belgium is saved. But as the dust settles, John Category knows the real battle has just begun. He must hold Belgium until the Russians arrive, a task fraught with danger and uncertainty. As the weeks pass, the Germans regroup and launch a counterattack. Can John Category and the Belgians hold out? And will the Russians come in time? As the situation grows more desperate, John Category realizes that winning this war will require more than just military victories. He must also win the hearts and minds of the people. But as casualties mount and fear grows, can he rally the Belgian spirit? Join us as we continue the story of John Category, the man whose decisions will shape the fate of Belgium and potentially the entire First World War. At the height of the battle, far from the trenches and the fighting, a different kind of war is being waged, a war of words, of images, of perceptions. This is the realm of propaganda, where truth is often the first casualty. Meet Lord Northcliffe, a British aristocrat and the proprietor of the Times, one of Britain's most influential newspapers. In the midst of the war, he recognizes the need to keep the public informed and engaged. But as the conflict drags on, he begins to see the limitations of straightforward reporting. People need to be persuaded, cajoled, even manipulated into supporting the war effort. Thus, Northcliffe's crusade to transform the way war is perceived begins. Through stirring editorials, gripping stories, and powerful imagery, he shapes the public's understanding of the conflict. Meanwhile, on the other side of the channel, the Germans are doing the same. Theirs is a story of heroic resistance against impossible odds. Every victory is magnified, every defeat downplayed. As the propaganda war intensifies, the battlefield expands beyond the trenches. It's a battle for hearts and minds, a battle where the weapons are words, the casualties are perceptions, and the ultimate goal is victory. In this alternate history, the Zimmermann telegram is never sent or intercepted. The U.S. remains neutral throughout the war, emerging at the end as a prosperous but isolated nation. Without the boost from American involvement, the Allies struggle and ultimately lose the war. Germany emerges victorious, reshaping Europe and setting the stage for a different 20th century. This loss leads to growing anti-German sentiment in America, laying the groundwork for another conflict decades later. The entry of the United States into World War I dramatically altered the course of the 20th century. The war ended sooner. Europe was reshaped, and a new world order emerged. The United States became a global power, and the seeds of future conflicts were sown. However, what if this pivotal moment in history was the result of a grand deception? What if the Zimmermann telegram was never real? Welcome to this alternate history, where a single forged document sparked a century of discord. The year is 1917, and the First World War has reached a stalemate. Europe is weary, and the United States is leaning towards neutrality. But then everything changes. The British reveal a shocking secret, a plot by Germany to incite Mexico into attacking the United States if the U.S. were to enter the war. This revelation is based on a coded telegram sent by German Foreign Minister Arthur Zimmermann, offering Mexico the chance to reclaim lost territories in Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. The public is outraged and President Woodrow Wilson declares war. But what if this pivotal moment was a lie? What if the telegram was a forgery masterminded by the British to manipulate the Americans? The evidence is intriguing. The U.S. never saw the original telegram, only the decrypted version provided by the British. And there were whispers at the time about the message being too perfect, too convenient for British interests. In this alternate timeline, when the British reveal the telegram, American skeptics rise up. Could this be a plot to drag the U.S. into a European conflict? President Wilson, cautious and aware of the public's mixed feelings about the war, demands proof before committing the United States. As pressure mounts, the British are unable to provide concrete evidence of the telegram's authenticity, leading to a diplomatic crisis. Wilson, torn between domestic opposition and foreign pressures, chooses neutrality. Without American intervention, the war drags on for another year. Germany, sensing weakness among the Allies, redoubles its efforts, leading to significant territorial gains. By 1918, the British are on the brink of collapse. Desperate times call for desperate measures. A peace treaty is hastily arranged, granting Germany significant concessions. The terms are humiliating for the Allies, but they avert a total collapse of Britain and bring an end to the war. In this alternate reality, the war ends not with a decisive Allied victory, but with a weary acceptance of Germany's gains. In the aftermath, Germany emerges as the dominant power in Europe, while the United States, having stayed out of the conflict, enjoys unprecedented economic growth. Europe is left to deal with the fallout of the war, while America retreats further into isolationism. Germany, emboldened by its victory, pursues a more aggressive foreign policy, challenging the existing world order. Tensions rise, leading to a new arms race and a shift in global power dynamics. As the 20th century unfolds, the world finds itself on a different trajectory. No Hitler, no World War II, but a new Cold War emerges between the United States and Germany. Each side builds up its sphere of influence, and the threat of another global conflict looms. The legacy of the Great War lives on, not in the form of a decisive victory or a lasting peace, but in the enduring rivalry between two superpowers. And there you have it, the story of how a potential forgery changed the course of history. But now we want to hear from you. Did you find this alternate history convincing? Do you believe the Zimmermann telegram was a genuine message or a clever ruse? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. For more captivating historical tales, thank you for watching.